Hi, Stoughton. This is Steve Cady, Select Board member from the town of Stoughton, also the Vice Chair. Today is November 24th, 2020. I just want to give you an update on our meeting tonight. Before I go into it, I just wanted to also remind you that in the description below, you can find links to the agenda and the minutes when they become available. There's the entire video of the video of the entire meeting via SMAC. Stoughton TV, I think is the link. And then also we have there's an anonymous suggestion box. If there's anything you want to share with me, you want to keep your name to yourself, feel free to leave a comment there. I read it pretty regularly. And also, it's not down below, but feel free to contact me. My phone number is on the town website and my email, and I'll definitely take all of your comments into consideration. I take it very seriously. So let's get into the meeting. I'm going to go through this at a very high level because we had two main topics, and we addressed them at length. And so I think even summarizing them probably won't do it justice. But so we started off with the regular stuff: citizen requests, select board comments, town manager comments. We then jumped ahead to near the end and just took care of the consent agenda. We pulled one item, but I'll read all of them and I'll discuss the one that we pulled. So when we voted for the consent agenda, it was payroll and bill warrants and any of the documents to come before the meeting. That was item A. Item B is approval of Chapman Road signage updates, replacement of signs and new sign locations. C, accept a grant for the Last Call Foundation, from the Last Call Foundation in the amount of $1,650. D, water connection 602 Pleasant Street, which is for Peach Orchard Park LLC. And E was approval of open session minutes for 11/10/2020. So we pulled item B and we voted on the rest, passed unanimously. We then addressed the approval of Chapman Road signage update, replacement of signs, and new sign locations. So this is definitely going to come up again. I think there's a little bit more work that has to be done to really address the full set of issues that this area was having. Mostly the issue relates to trucks coming down a narrow residential street. I think most of it or all of it is perhaps just a portion of it, but some portion of it is one way, and there are trucks going the wrong way down trying a one-way street on the traffic as well. So I think just generally that area is suffering from some unsafe driving situations, and Sergeant O'Connor, the safety officer, was looking to change the signage and perhaps put up some barriers to prevent some of this from happening. What the barriers are specifically, I think he and engineering are still working out the details. They have some suggestions, but I think there's going to have to be some longer range planning for that. But with regard to signage, we did vote to approve the signs that he was requesting. So that was that item. Let's see. Next thing we took up, it was town clerk appointment. And so this was three parts, right? The review job description, review timeline for posting, interviews, appointments, and review process for interviews, including screening committee, interview panel, candidate profile, and interview questions. That's pretty high level what we discussed, but the conversation took a lot of twists and turns. I do recommend you looking at it. Ultimately, we're looking to the main takeaway from this is that we're going to be developing a screening committee for anybody who applies for the position. We're looking for candidates that are more than anything else impartial to this decision, but we're also looking for people with qualifications that are make sense for making a judgment on this. So a few of us are going to take that away as a work item and try to find a way to approach this that's fair and transparent, and we'll continue to move through this. Also, there was a great deal of discussion on the nature of the job itself, and whether or not this really should be the role should be split into two, given that our community is a lot larger and the sophistication of the problems that the clerk's office has to face has increased since the charter was written. So, in 1972, they weren't worrying about town website and communicating through databases and whatnot. So, in an effort to, and I think our population is double, I think, at least since then. So, the tasks that the town clerk's office has to perform, which are mission critical in a lot of cases, might just need some like a bifurcation of the roles. We're still looking at that. We haven't necessarily narrowed that down, but it does make a lot of sense to me that we might do that. So we'll continue to look into that, put together a panel, and we'll continue to try to make progress on this. Next item we discussed, we talked a lot about it, so there's a lot in there. If this is something that interests you, I would definitely recommend listening to it and trying to get an idea of where we were headed and all of the issues we're trying to reconcile, all of the things we're trying to solve. So next item was the fiscal 2020 budget. The items we discussed were A, budget calendar, B, policy for accepting town meeting articles, and C, budget discussion, including directives and discussion of accounts, expenses, revenue, capital items, and other budget items as they may arise. Once again, this was a lengthy discussion, and we covered a lot of ground. We did lay out a budget calendar that right now includes most of the select board's deadlines and any deadlines for anybody that exists by statute, so it's in the town charter. So all that's been laid out, who's responsible, who's giving what to who, when they're supposed to be giving it, and then also the statute itself, so people can verify it. I've also sent out messages to a lot of stakeholders: town manager, town accountant, town planner, planning board, CPC, finance committee, school committee, town moderator, deputy town moderator. I think that covers it, but there might be others. But a lot of the people who are heavily involved in the process of either the budget or town meeting articles or town meeting itself, and letting them know that if they have any deadlines that they would like us to, or like anybody to abide by, to let us know what those are. We'll include this in this document so everyone can get a really thorough idea of what's due and when, and who's giving what to who, and whatnot. So hopefully that will help. Mr. Regan also put together policies for accepting town meeting articles. That is an effort to just to make it more transparent, more easier to understand, provide some hard guidelines for what's due and when it's due and to whom it's due. A lot of that was used to fill in our budget calendar as well. So that should be helpful. We adopted it, but we also, Mr. McCrisky and I have taken away another component. So this policy, which we voted on, gets everything sort of up through the getting them inserted into the warrant, and that makes sense. The town charter also allows the select board to organize the town meeting warrant however they want, and so we can't necessarily design a policy for that part. We can have a rule of thumb or some sort of guidelines, but we can't set it as a policy because we can't tell a future board what they have to do, because the charter tells them they can do whatever they want. So rather than doing that, Mr. McCrisky and I are going to help set up a set of guidelines with an interest in having it be coherent for town meeting, also having it sort of keeping like things together. Perhaps we're going to work on trying to keep things good for. Let me start over again. we're going to try and keep it coherent for town meeting. We're also going to try to keep it fair for any petitioners, especially citizen petition articles. Right now, they just by custom end up all at the very end of town meeting. And I don't know how long that goes back. It's been like that since I've been on the board. Just an effort to keep them all together. But what we end up with is all the citizen petition articles are addressed after everything else, and everyone's just looking to go home, and place clears out. Again, there's a lot of way fewer people there on the last night of town meeting, and Mr. McCrisky has a sense that, or at least he expressed that he feels that is unfair, and I think that's not unrealistic. I think that in my involvement, I certainly didn't try to be unfair, but at the same time, from a petitioner's standpoint, I can understand why that is not respectful of their time and the work that they've put into it. So we're going to work to try to make this a little bit fairer and impartial and coherent. So hopefully that helps understand what's going on with that. And we also then moved on to discussions about accounts and expenses and revenue, capital items, and all that. Largely, it was questions about the budget and budgeting of personnel and specifically human resources, to which additional human resources are people within the human resource department. And the town manager had a slightly different. She had a very creative idea for a way to provide what we were looking for, but also not take on additional staff. And I think that's made sense to me. I think it's going to work, and she'll have a panel of people who are already involved in are already employees of town government, helping to work through that process in a way that made a lot of sense to me. So that was it. Hopefully I'm not misrepresenting anything. Please do watch the meeting. It was very long, and I have my notes in my memory, but I'll probably watch this again because it was a lot happened. It's hard to remember it all. So we had that, and the last thing was executive session. As always, can't go into the details, but I'll read off what we had. 3 items. Item A, consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A6, 1515 West Street. Item B, discuss strategy with respect to litigation pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, Sandra Lucian Calixte, might be mispronouncing her name, versus Neil David et al., federal docket number 1:CV-11312-NMG. Last item, C, approve executive session minutes of 11/10/2020. And that was the meeting. So as always, well, actually, I always thank you guys for allowing me to be in this position. I really, this has been a wonderful experience for me, and I appreciate the trust the community has put in me to work in this role, to fill this seat that does belong to the people. I'll continue to do the best I can, and I hope to be here as long as you'll have me. The last thing I want to say before going is everyone please have a very happy and safe Thanksgiving. I know this is gonna stink with a pandemic, and we're all gonna have to find modified ways of doing things. But I hope you will take it seriously and do your best to stay safe and healthy, and keep your family safe and the ones you love safe. And if that means not doing a Thanksgiving, next year, just make up for it, have twice as much fun. Because this year it might not be as much, but even though it's kind of stinks, we've got a lot to be thankful for, and to appreciate even during a pandemic. We'll make it through it. Just keep on persevering, keep on pushing through, and we'll be there before you know it. So be well, everyone. Thank you. Have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving. Take care.